This is an overview of the map DoD Hostile. As you can see from the overview, it's kind of a quick little windy map. It doesn't take you long to get from each of these blue stars being a flag. So you just kind of wind your way through with lots of little obstacles and stuff to hide behind. Um, Looking at some scores, I queried the TPG database. This was only ever used once in TPG 3v3. And for the majority of the matches, as you can see here, 262 to 0 on this half, 321 to 0. There was no clear Axis versus Allies advantage. You sum up the total scores, they're fairly close. The majority of the matches, though, were blowouts. These are individual matches. You can see here, the team that won 222 to 0 on this half won 321 to 0 on this half. There was one outlier match that was completely ally sided, the Allies winning 105 to 12 and 175 to 0, where every other match was pretty handily decided on both sides. And that particular match was actually involving me, and I don't remember, this was back in 2009. But as you can see, it is not a mistake in the database from the end round screenshots. It actually was ally sided on both halves. You can also see from this screenshot that my team decided to use 3 autos on allies, and you'll see why that is in a second. This map can be very conducive to autos because of the tight quarters. We'll go into the map real quick, and I'll just do it a very quick walkthrough. You come out of spawn, there's the 1 flag, and as you see, you get right up here to the 2 flags. There's all sorts of stuff to hide behind and all sorts of little rooms you can pop in and out of. The 1 flags are just on little mounds like this. The 2 flags are where all this action is at. And the mid is a 2-man cap, but it's also one of these mounds. You got to be hugging the crate pretty tight. Nades can be tossed over from either side. The map is symmetrical, and there is this mid house here. But as you can see, here's another 2 flag, and then down here is the last Axis flag at the 1. So there's all sorts of stuff you can kind of hide behind as an auto. There's these little rooms you can pop in and out of, little corners you can use as cover, and the constant up and down as well can be pretty good for the autos. Each 2 flag has this little side cut through. I'll go over routes here in a second. The one place where rifles do really well is if you're coming from your spawn, you can jump up here, get some angles on mid, come up behind this box. You can kind of watch this doorway, watch mid. So rifles do kind of have a purpose up here. If you're, you can get some tight angles here, and also in these doorways, the rifles can get up here in these doorways and kind of peek out. That's 2 good spots for rifles is on these platforms and these side doors. There's not a lot of crazy nades on this map because when you go up into the skybox, the roofs have this flat part on top. So if you try and throw a nade over, even ramp it through the skybox, it gets caught up on the flat parts of these roofs. There's not a lot of crazy nades. Just kind of have to prime and just kind of guesstimate your air bursts over into the mid and hope you take someone out. When you're coming out of your spawn, note that you can't jump right back into spawn. The wall's a little too high, but you can get back in spawn by coming through this little side exit. When you're respawning and coming out here, if the enemy has your 2, you can expect them, or if you know they're about to get your 2, to be immediately priming a nade and chucking it down there. So sitting back here, might be very susceptible to nade death. Might be able to pro it on here with the auto, try and keep people at bay, but you're pretty susceptible to nades here. And there's only 2 spots up here for people to sit to defend. They're good spots, but might get a little crowded. Might have to watch out for some nades. You might be able to hide here and hope the nades go deep in, but got to keep that in mind when you're defending. There's obviously lots of places you can camp and sit to defend and work your way up, but the enemies also have the the advantage to be able to sit in these spots and stop your push as well. Lots of little doorways to sit in. What I would personally do for routes is you can have someone go straight across these barriers, kind of like a mid route, like that. Kind of help with the double cap, and then go back up this barrier, kind of like a mid guy like that. And then you can have another person go through the buildings, through red here to mid, and then off to blue. So that would be 2 routes. And then for a third route, and this would probably be more, although on this map it doesn't really matter, heavy versus rifle, but I probably wouldn't send a rifle this way. You could have someone, you know, go through these cut throughs, or if you don't need to go through the cut through, just, you know, stay on the ground to the outside, and through mid house white here. If you don't need to be on the cap, you can cut through there. So there's three main routes. You know, off to the right there's these 2 rooms where you can be on the ground through the mid house, and obviously mid house can help cap too. You can even backstab the caps, sitting here and come out and shoot people in the back. And there's the people going right up the heart on top of the platforms, and then people coming through these side houses, the red and the blue. So there is 3 kind of distinct routes, but everything's so close together. I don't even necessarily want to call it rotating, but you can get anywhere fairly quickly, so there's going to be a lot of ability to help people. You see someone get killed, you could easily be in a position to quickly trade. There have been newer versions of Hostile. This is the original version of Hostile, but as I go and take you to some of the newer versions, you'll see why the original is probably the best for 3v3. As I'm spectating here, they added additional levels in some of these houses. You can get up higher, just a lot more complexity, and there's this additional, coming from spawn, this additional ramp that goes up to either, you know, this window, or it'll drop you down in these little side U rooms. So there's a lot more complexity going on that's not really necessary, considering the map is, you know, fairly complex with a lot of angles and corners already, and that just adds to it. That being said, Carta was a very popular 3v3 map, and it had a lot of these up-down complexities as well, so might be worth a try to try the map out, see how it plays on one of the newer versions. But DoD Hostile, the original, was played once in TPG 3v3 and is being played for the second time in the T3G Season 1 Preseason Week 2. To my knowledge, version 2 and 3 haven't been tried in any competitive format. And that is your overview of DoD Hostile. So thank you, Kaboom, for bringing this to my attention, and I'm adding this as an update to the original video and just put it on the end. All 3 of these windows can be opened from either side, and you can jump through them and shoot through them and close them once they're open. That was something I was unaware of, but now everybody's aware of it. I have added it to the video. Thank you, Kaboom.